All right, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here. I want to talk about why you're just as whack as your 5 best friends. This is going to be a little bit of a triggering video, but it might be necessary if you're in an environment that is not dominated by people who are making amounts of money that might seem unreal to you. If you're in an environment that might, in the worst case, even be toxic or holding you back, then this video is for you. Very, very key point for beginners if you want to create your own first business. This is something that is highly, highly underrated. So if you like the idea of generating income, if you like the idea of becoming your own boss, and if you like the idea of moving away from a toxic environment, this video is for you. Let's get started.
Have you ever wondered whether there's more to life than a meaningless, dead-end 9-to-5 job? Have you ever dreamed about breaking free, traveling the world, making good money while not having to worry that you could get fired? My name is Max Tornow, and I've attained that freedom, and I've attained that security. No more office dress code, no morning commute, no boss. This channel is for you, so here's to your freedom.
First and foremost, what you have to understand is don't underestimate the influence of your environment on you. Lots of people, I think, when they want to build their first business, they kind of think like, oh, I need the information. Oh, I just need to have the business idea. These things are overrated. It's very rarely about the information. The information itself you can find anywhere. You can find even the things that we teach in our beginner program to a degree you can find in a book, but it's not about that. It's about having a structured plan, having someone to keep you accountable, and it's about having someone to give you feedback along the way. And also, it's about the general influence your environment has on you. So, ask yourself the question right now, what are your friends talking about? What are your friends talking about? What was the last conversation that you had with your friends? Maybe you talked about memes, funny memes. Maybe you talked about the weekend, about college, about how the government is bad, how news, fear-mongering news. Are you talking about completely irrelevant BS like that? Or are your friends talking about something else? Imagine there were people talking about money making. Imagine that. They're talking about money making. Imagine they're talking about, that was not planned. I just randomly thought about that song. Imagine your friends talking about money making, traveling, how to help more people, freedom, how to make even more money, how to help even more people. Imagine your friends almost make you feel stupid. And that's the next big important point I want to talk about here is, first off, it's hard to succeed or to start getting results if your friends are a bunch of broke losers. And once you do get out, it's really hard to stay hungry to keep thriving and keep striving. Because what happens a lot is, once you start getting better at things, once you start making more money, you probably find yourself in a situation where amongst your friends, you're the one who's doing by far the best. And I notice that often whenever I come home to my hometown. I feel like the small fish in the tiny pond. I'm a small fish compared to the world, but I'm really big compared to everybody in that tiny small little pond. Because which one of my old high school friends is making $1 million a year? None of them. In fact, most of them are not even going to make $100K a year. So when I go there, when I would be surrounded by these people 24/7, I would always feel like I arrived. I'm the king. That's it. I'm fine. There is very little incentive for me to keep pushing. However, every time I go out there into the real world and I go hang out with people who make 8 figures or multiple 8 figures a year, they're wearing not the $12,000 watches, like this one is a $12,000 watch. For them, this is a peasant watch. So why are you wearing only 12? Like they're wearing watches that are like $100K, and this is not in no means meant to be communicated in a derogatory fashion. This is in no means being meant to value or devalue someone. This is just like for you as a reference to see, like, if I hang out amongst these people, I will feel like an idiot. So if I hang out with other people that are not as far as me, I will feel like a king, ergo I have very little incentive to keep striving and to keep improving. But if I hang out with other people that are in a completely different ballpark, I'm gonna feel like a loser. And that might be bad for my ego, right? I might be like, man, I'm not as cool as I thought I was. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself the question, what do you prefer? Do you prefer feeling like a king amongst a bunch of losers, but in reality your life isn't nearly as good as it could be? Or do you prefer feeling a little bit inferior? Or again, I don't mean to talk about it in evaluating terms, but do you feel less advanced in a specific area? Do you prefer that, but your life is actually better? Right? Maybe your ego is a little cracked and you might not feel as superior in that specific field of maybe business building. But ultimately, I'd rather feel inferior but have an even better life and help even more people with my business. So if you really think about it, I talked about this to a client of mine the other day. He was like, yeah, he's a beginner client. It's like the last couple months I've been consistently making 4 to 7K a month, which is much more than I would have ever dreamed about. Which is, he said, much more than any of my friends are making. And it feels hard for me to keep pushing for, 10K, 20K, even though he could. And I told him the same. I'm like, look, which one of these two options buys you a jet ski? Feeling good about yourself amongst your loser friends making 4 to 7K a month? Or maybe feeling less good about yourself, maybe even feeling like a loser amongst people that are much further than you, but you're making the money that affords you the jet ski. Ultimately, feeling good or superior to a relatively inferior environment doesn't buy you a jet ski. I don't need a jet ski. Money doesn't make me happy. Okay, it doesn't pay your bills. Let's put it that way. It doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't pay your health insurance. It doesn't pay you freedom. It doesn't pay you being able to take care of your family, your spouse, your children, your future children. Feeling good about yourself pays you exactly nothing. So ultimately, you have to ask yourself two things. There's 2 stages to that. Number 1, if you're at stage 1 and you have friends that drag you down and you can't seem to crawl out of that bucket of BS, what can you do? And the other question is, if you're already kind of on the outside and you're the best, the coolest, the most well-earning person in your environment, how can you keep pushing? How can you find that incentive to keep improving? These are the 2 key questions you want to ask yourself. And I'm going to answer you both questions. In fact, let me start with the first one. Hold on a second, business partner messaging. The first question is, how can you get out of a toxic environment that keeps you from actually crawling out of the bucket? It's almost like that analogy. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket. If one crab will try to crawl out, the other ones will draw him back in. It's literally like that. It's funny. So, number 1, you literally have to remove yourself from that environment as much as you possibly can. This sometimes turns out to be quite difficult if it's your family and you're living under a roof with them. Well, if that is the case and you physically can't remove yourself from that situation, you should have that as your first goal. One more reason to build a successful business, so you can stand on your own 2 legs and you can move out somewhere and live under a roof with somebody, without somebody that keeps trying to toxify you or keeps trying to draw you back in. So that should be your goal. Now, during that time period where you cannot remove yourself physically yet, you have to somehow learn how to shut yourself off from their toxicity. Typical classical example, you're sitting at the dinner table, you might have announced that you're trying to start your own business, or they might have found out, and they will all tell you, all of them from all sides, this is not a good idea, you're gonna fail anyways, right? It can range from like, hey, we love you and we care about you, we're scared that this might be something that hurts you, all the way to like, oh, you're a piece of you're not going to do this, you're too stupid to do this, look at you, what do you think, right? Depending on the toxicity level of these people, you have to learn to shut yourself off. And the way to shut yourself off is not, key point, the way to shut yourself off is not by trying to convince them. Not going to happen. If you have several people or even just one person who's very set in their ways, who hasn't made the decision to improve themselves, if you try to put in energy to convince them, it's not going to happen, it ain't going to work. All right? What you should do instead is you nod, you smile, you agree, you might even thank them for their advice, and then you go ahead and do it anyways. You don't want to waste energy into trying to convince them. You just even tell them like, yeah, you're right, thanks, and then you go ahead and do what you got to do anyways. All right? And then once you do succeed, they'll all tell you, oh, I always knew you would win. I always supported you. I always knew it. It's funny. It's always these people that try to hold you back the most that eventually tell you, I always knew it. Anyway, I always supported you. So let your results speak for themselves and don't try to get into any confrontations. This is the same with your friends. You know, might not be the dinner table, might be some hangout with your buddies. It will be the same. Just not agree, right? Don't waste any energy on that and just let it go in here and go out here, right? And then go ahead and do it anyways. An important point here is don't try to teach them also, and don't try to think you're better than them. This is a key point, and because I mentioned that before as well, whenever I go back into my hometown and I hang out with my old friends who might not be as successful in the business realm, but hey, maybe they are successful in other fields. A ton of my friends that are still quote unquote as broke as they were before, but they sure as hell are better at freestyle skiing or snowboarding than me. Because while I was out there building a business, they were snowboarding, working on their tricks. I have friends that started a family. I don't know anything about having kids. You know, I want to get kids at some point, but not yet. So of course, they're probably more advanced in other areas. So I never think that I'm better than them. I think that I'm better at them at building a business, but I'm not a better person or anything, or I'm not higher in value or anything. And also there, I'm not trying to teach anything. And it's the same with back in the days of my very first business. We used to talk a lot about don't drink alcohol when you're socializing, right? And then it's maybe difficult at the beginning when you're always used to having a little bit of a buzz, and then you stop drinking alcohol. It's a bad thing to then try to teach other people. You know, you're at a party, they're having a cup of alcohol in their hand, and you'd be like, you know, I don't drink alcohol anymore because I heard it's bad, and because, you know, you should actually learn how to have fun yourself. While the other person's drinking alcohol, nobody's going to react well to that, right? So don't try to teach them anything. When they're complaining about the government holding them back and the government being the reason why they ain't making enough money, then just agree with them. Be like, yeah, government sucks. Cheers, buddy. You know, you hang out with them for an hour or so, and then you go back and you work on your dreams. So that's the first stage. That's how you deal with toxic environment that keeps you from getting started, keeps you from building momentum in the first place. The other part now is what I've mentioned before, is when you are doing well and you're at a stage where you're doing much better than everybody in your environment, how can you keep thriving? Well, you have to, number one, realize that you've gotten yourself nice and comfortable at a higher stage comfort zone where you are now the king. You have to realize that it was your initial leaving of that first comfort zone that actually got you to that spot. And now you have to leave that comfort zone again in order to open yourself up to keep striving for something even bigger. What does that mean? Well, it means maybe you have to move from your little hometown where you are the king to the big city where you are merely a small fish in a very, very big pond. All right? Where you're nobody, where you might not be the coolest, where you might not be the most popular, where you are actually realizing that, holy cow, I'm actually at the bottom of this. Me with my making 4, 5K, 10K a month, I'm nobody. There's entrepreneurs out there who might be in the same niche or similar niche making 10 times more or 50 times more, and I am a loser for thinking I'm cool. And that's okay if you think you're a loser, because ultimately you thinking that you're cool ain't gonna pay the bills. But you thinking that you're a loser might put yourself in a situation to thrive more, strive more, and work harder on higher set goals. And once you reach those goals, you actually earn more money. You actually get more value out there to your clients, and you can actually really cause an impact. That is how you deal with whack friends, whack environment. If you haven't done so yet, a tiny little bit of a step in the right direction is number one, following me on Instagram. Well, we might not be able to be best friends on Instagram, but posting on there every single day. I'm posting the success side of things, having the money, doing the nice things, going on the vacations, but I'm also showing the work side of things, putting in the work non-stop. I'm trying to always be a counterbalance to the whack lifestyle influencer liars and just kind of show you, hey, there's hard work involved in this. All right, so definitely check that out. Also check out our Freedom Business Mentoring Instagram account. We're showing our very successful beginner clients there, clients that are making 4 to 5 figures a month. We're dropping value nuggets on business every single day and so on and so forth. So ultimately, so you have your phone in your hand right now. You can probably give follow on both of them right now. Ultimately, both instances have it as a predisposition that you have to make a choice. All right? You have to make a specific choice to, number one, say, I'm going to remove myself from a toxic environment. I'm going to make the decision to say, I'm now no longer going to be a product of my environment. I'm going to make my environment be a product of mine. Right? Famous quote. And the other hand is also, you got to make a decision to say, you know what, I might be the coolest, the sharpest tool in the shed here with my making 4, 5, 10K a month, but that's nothing. There's other people out there who are much better, and my ego might tell me these people are arrogant, these people are stupid, these people are so-and-so and this and that, but ultimately that's just your ego. It's okay if you feel stupid. It's okay if you feel envious. Use that as fuel to push you to keep striving. And if you want to keep striving together with us, you want to start your own successful online business as a coach, consultant, or a service provider, right? You want to monetize a skill that you have. Maybe you don't know how to get started, then I invite you to book a free consultation call with us. There's a link down in the description below. You click on that link, it brings you through to a page. You can read through the page, and at the bottom of that page, there's an application form. You fill that out, takes you 2 minutes to fill it out, and then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. So this call is for you. If you have no idea how to get started, if you feel a little lost and you want to have implementable steps how you in your specific situation can get started with your own first business, and that call is for you. If you already have a skill and you want to learn how to monetize it, that call is for you. And if you're already making some money but you want to make it more consistently, better, you want to scale, that call is for you. We can help you. So link down in the description below, limited spots. If the link lets you through, we still have a spot open for you. I want to thank you very much for watching and listening. Pay attention, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey everybody, what's up? Tom here. I wanted to make a quick video about my latest results. As I posted, in the last 30 days I had 4 closes. That's total of 8K, and 3.8 are already in the bank, and it feels great. And I want to say thank you, of course, to Max and the team and the 2 great boot camps that we had, and of course thank you to you guys. Thank you for your time and all the other stuff.